Now, when fallen human beings form a marriage, they do so in order to trade. But what does the marriage trade? Well, first is success. The man needs to be successful, so he enters into the marriage in order to become a success. In the same way, the woman is undesirable. She knows this, just like the man knows he's unsuccessful, and therefore she enters into the marriage in order to become desirable. If a man appreciates her, takes her into his life, that feels like she's desirable. And at the same time, when the woman gives herself to the man, he views that as his success. But what's really going on here is they're trading back and forth. The woman's job is to give her man success, and she hopes that by doing that, she will in turn receive desirability. In the same sense, the man is giving desirability to his wife, telling her she's beautiful, loving her, providing her for her, securing her, and he assumes that in return for that, he'll get success. So what's really going on here is each person's soul is using the marriage to try to spiritually consume, to transform the soul into someone who's either successful or desirable, and they're using the marriage to accomplish that. So marriage, as we created as fallen human beings, requires a man to give desirability and a woman to give success. And that's how we trade with each other to make the marriages that we have in this world. So how does a marriage trade? Well, first, it's a moral agreement. When the individuals begin to date and early on in the marriage, they see a moral obligation. They have to give something in order to receive something. And the man knows he's not successful and he wants to be successful. So he figures out, what do I have to trade to the woman so that she will allow me to be successful? In the similar sense, the woman isn't desirable, so she figures out, what do I have to do for this man so that he'll give me proof that I am desirable, that I'm becoming desirable, that maybe I am even desirability itself. So this moral agreement lasts for a while, but eventually you have to start leaning on a legal agreement, because we break that moral contract because our infinite desires drive us to try to take more and more and more. So we like to start setting up guidelines of when things are supposed to happen, when things are not supposed to happen, and the marriage becomes more legal in its structure. Eventually, though, that breaks down and you have to start using force because your partner's refusing to give you what you want, so you start applying greater and greater levels of force to take what you want from your partner. So we see this in men because men view physical oneness as the means to prove his success, so he will start applying greater and greater levels of force on the woman in order to make sure that event happens. Similarly, the woman wants her desirable expressions, to be told that she's beautiful, to be made secure and felt confident in the relationship. So she'll use what she has, oftentimes holding back physical oneness, to get the man, to force him to provide her with what she wants. And that's where marriage begins to erode very quickly into war. So marital trade, trading success and desirability, moves from moral trust to legal maneuvering and finally into war. So why create a trading marriage? Well, very simply, you need to produce success. A man's not successful. So what does he do? He looks to this marriage, he finds a woman that he thinks might be the one that can help him be successful. And he hopes that that will produce him, particularly his soul, into a spiritual being of success. The goal of the marriage is to produce himself into a successful man because he's not one. Similarly, the woman is interested in producing desirability. She wants to be desirable. She knows she's not. Her body might have some semblances of what the world views as desirable, but deep down in her soul, she knows she's not desirable. So she's hoping the marriage will be able to produce that desirability in her. But ultimately, the marriage itself, which involves both bodies, can only produce containers. The marriage can produce thoughts, emotions, and actions, children, larger relationships, finances. All these things can be produced, but they're containers for something. The something that neither soul has. The soul is supposed to have the success and the desirability ready to go, ready to fill all these containers, all these thoughts, emotions, and actions. But when you try to create the thoughts, emotions, and actions without that spiritual success, that spiritual desirability, they just remain empty. The thoughts, emotions, and actions are there, the children are there, the finances are there, the physical oneness is there, but there's nothing inside those containers. Because it's the soul's job to bring that success into the thoughts, emotions, and actions, to bring that desirability into the thoughts, emotions, and actions. And if the soul does not accomplish that, all the marriage's creations remain empty. So marriage can only create the containers for success and desirability. Marriage cannot create success and desirability. Marriage simply puts forth the material containers that can hold it and display the soul's success and desirability in unique and exciting ways. So who creates a trading marriage? Well, very simply, an unsuccessful man. The only reason a man would create a marriage to trade for success is if he doesn't have it, which would mean he's unsuccessful. He's worthless. He knows this, but he has to put up a good front so that the woman will even engage with him so they can begin to trade. At the same time, an undesirable woman will create a trading marriage because she wants this relationship to prove that she is desirable, to show the world and ultimately herself that she really is desirable even though she knows she's not. So this underlies the real reality of the marriages that we create. It's untruthful. We're lying to each other. When the man tells his woman, "You're so beautiful, you're the most beautiful one in the world," he's lying to her. She knows she's undesirable. Now she wants to grow in desirability, into God's desirability, but when the man tells her that she already is desirable, he's making it clear he has no idea how to lead her into a greater expression of desirability than she already is. Similarly, when the woman tries to convince her man that he's doing a good job and he's such a good husband, she's lying to him. He knows he's unsuccessful. He wants to grow into God's success, but when the woman just encourages him that he already is there, she's revealing she has no idea how to help him become more like God's success. So marriage, in the fallen sense, requires lying to your partner about being successful or desirable, because ultimately only God is successful and desirable. So we go to him by faith. We receive his success and desirability into the soul, but you can't be like God's success and desirability. Use your free will, create your own unique expressions, and then you and your partner put on a glorious show in this world. But that's not God's show, it's your show, based on your relationship with God, but it's going to be unique. So you'll never fully achieve success or desirability, but you'll always continue to grow as you learn from God spiritually, and then with your partner, express your own free-willed, partnered creations into this world.